Good evening. We are live. I'm Two Turtle Tom, and tonight we have Dawson Lalor from Texas State Tortoises. Hey, Dawson, how's it going?
What's up?
Thanks for joining us tonight. We also have, like always, Matthew Hills, except he's having a bit of technical difficulties, so he's trying every arrangement possible of his computer and his setup to see if we can possibly hear him.
Wait.
But can you hear us, Matthew?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes,
I can
we
hear
can.
you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Well, I guess just coming upstairs is what I got to do.
We need to get you a Google system and get you a Google router down there in the basement and get you set up with a nice mesh system. So
now I can't hear you. Hold on.
Well, so while Matthew's getting ready, we are going to go ahead and shout everybody and welcome them to the evening. Will Espenshade says he's hoping for a smooth and functional podcast. So am I. So we're just gonna turn Matthew off camera for a second. Sam is here. Sam is trying to convince Will to do a nice T-shirt giveaway over at Capodolo Farms. Christopher Richard is here. Michael Thathuvaswamy. Greetings, fellow Colonian lovers. Ralph Till is with us. Kyle. Mike Chan out in British Columbia. Joel Mendoza. Joel. Is that Joel?
It's Joel.
Joel, thank you for joining us. Phil Simpson is with us. Texas Tortoise Talk. And Cameron Lamb, Mikey Ben, Phil Simpson, Justin Roberts, and Steven Cifuentes is with us tonight. So excellent. So let's check to see if Matthew can hear us now. Can you hear us now, Matthew? He's quiet. He's quiet.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yeah, we can. Yeah, so let's get this started. Okay, welcome to the Two Turtle Tom show tonight. Matthew and I are really happy to have Dawson Lalor from Texas State Tortoises. And Dawson, you went to your first Turtle and Tortoise Preservation Group meeting 2 weeks ago now, and got to kind of meet the crew. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience there?
I think I did a little more than get to meet the crew. I got to meet everybody and their friends, and it's an experience of a lifetime for sure. So it was great.
Well, hopefully you'll come back. But you'll always have your, you'll never have your first TTPG again.
That's why we're here talking about it.
Awesome. What do you remember?
I remember. I went through my notes. I wrote down a little bit of what I did.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I took away from it right now was the start of TTP. Showed up. I came a couple days early on a Monday. Cameron Lamb. Talked to him a little bit and seen if we wanted to make some plans, and invited me over to his place. Gave me the tour of his place. Him and Stephanie. So I was really, and then they invited me over to the Arizona Tortoise compound with Matt and them to even start the TTPG off just like that. Was just awesome. So that was the first part of it. Started off with a rip. So the day after that, we went and toured Andrew's place. When I tell you, there's levels to this stuff, and Andrew's
he's close to the top level for sure.
Yes, of a lifetime, and I'm glad I got to meet Andrew and all the people there. So that was his whole collection. It was great.
Yeah, I've never been there, but there's a great YouTube video of the Arizona tortoise compound with drone footage that you can watch. I think it was from maybe the 2018 TTPG field trip, but looks like Matthew's frozen right now. Matthew, can you hear us?
I can now. I think I'm going to disconnect.
Okay,
this is ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Matthew's fighting his internet. So, Dawson, what species of turtles and tortoises do you keep at home?
I keep a total of 12 species. I only keep as much. I only keep as much as I can take care of. Keep everything. I only take as much as I can. I only keep as much as I can take care of. So I'm keeping a nice group of. They're saying my audio's choppy.
Yeah, it's a little choppy, but keep going.
Let me try to MacBook. It might work a little.
Yeah, just keep
bit better.
Keep going. Keep going. Tell us about you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I keep Sri Lankan stars. I have radiateds, Aldabras. I keep a few sulcatas. I have pancakes. I have a lot of pancakes actually. I have a yellow Amazon basin tortoise. I keep a bunch of different red ear sliders. I already said that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I recently picked up a pretty cool species while I was Chaco tortoises. So I got my first baby Chaco.
That's awesome. I saw that on social. How did that come to be?
When I went to Andrew Hermes' place, he was showing us his baby room, and I pulled it out and I took a picture of it. I never did, I think, and then I show up to the show Saturday. I showed up to the show and I seen he had it at his table, and his table was the first table, and I was like, "Is this for sale?" And he's like, "Yeah, it is." I said, "All right, deal."
Awesome. Wow, that's a really neat tortoise species. We had Aaron Johnson on, probably 6 months or 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago, maybe. And we talked all about Chaco tortoises, and that South American species, super cool.
It is great. I rewatched that, actually. I've gotten in contact with Aaron, and that's a great advice. So really appreciated that too.
The thing with those that Aaron was talking about is in the past, people have just experienced a ton of pyramiding with that species.
So the thing is I'm just going to take every bit of advice from those two people that have done it really well. My own, not create my own way, but use as much of it as I can to try to avoid common knowledge I have of tortoises to go about raising it up as best.
Yeah, awesome. I'm gonna try to see if Matthew's connection got any better, and Dawson's connection's a little choppy, but we can hear you. So Matthew, what about you? Any luck?
I hear you really well.
Yeah.
Dawson's a little choppy, but I just don't think it likes me. I'm directly plugged into my router, so I don't know what.
Well, this is no.
I don't know what's going on.
No, it's great now. It's smooth. So Matthew, Dawson, he certainly made an impression at this year's TTPG. Would you say?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he is a guy who he's got a passion. I mean, you can tell that from the start. But more than that, he has a really good ability to listen to advice and really explore what's going to be best for whatever species he's got in his hands. That's you have a lot of people that are interested in a lot of stuff, and a lot of people that will ask for advice, but not a lot of people will take advice. It's kind of, I mean, I'm bad about it too. I mean, I've asked for lots of people, and hey Matt, you should probably stick with a few lefties, and whoop whoop. in one ear, out the other. That's how you end up with 60+ species. But Choco tortoises, he just mentioned those. That's something I was able to get some last year. Sadly, not exactly sure what happened, but they didn't survive. And I've been waiting for more to come. I've been bugging Aaron, and I really appreciate what they're doing, and the fact that they're not just selling the hatches they get them. They're really doing their due diligence to set up good groups, which is a great example for Dawson and I to follow in their footprint, in their footsteps. And as soon as I found out he bought it, I was like, dude, that's awesome, because we're partnering on this, whether he wants to or not. We're gonna partner on it.
No, and that's what I was telling people. As soon as I figured out, I didn't realize that one was supposed to go to you, and I was like, damn. So I wanted to say, whoever out there has a Choco baby, the next person, I'm buying it, and it's going straight to Matt. It's on the next tortoise we got available. I'm buying it, and I'm gifting it to you. So.
Okay, we've heard it here. You've gone on the record. Matthew Hills is the next. Tony says that Reptilandia has one. Is that the place in Costa Rica, Tony? Let us know. Or is that? I'm not sure where that Reptilandia is. So, well, Dawson, one thing I wanted to ask you about is what it's like to live in Texas and your climate and keep tortoises. I think you're the first person we've had on the show from Texas. And what is Matthew? Put it in the chat. Put it in the private chat, Matthew.
I couldn't hear.
What is it like keeping tortoises in Texas? And do you keep them outside, inside, or both? Or did we lose him? Looks like Dawson froze this time. Okay, he'll come in.
I can hear you.
Yeah, he just froze.
Yeah,
internet connections.
Can you hear me?
Guys got to get.
Yeah, you were choppy there for a second.
Me? I was.
I'm directly plugged in. Yeah, you were choppy for a sec. Yeah. I think it's the software, because I'm directly plugged into the internet now.
No, you're good. You're good now. Plugged in. So we'll see. We'll get Dawson back in here. And, I know Bill Strand was saying he might be looking at switching away from Restream, but I've had pretty good luck with it. So, okay, Reptilandia is.
Yeah, well, everyone said that here you just fine.
Quetzals. Yeah. I mean, I have
some
fast internet connection and good. So, Johnson City, Texas.
Johnson City, Texas.
April says Texas is great, but the climate varies wildly around the state. Exactly. So we got to get Dawson, but Dawson has not rejoined us. But
we can usually.
I've never
we can
actually
10 devices.
Been to Texas. I've only been in the airport. Still with me, Matthew? I think Will Espenshade.
That's so true. Texas, it is. I am, but you definitely have.
I know, like Houston is crazy humid, and then other parts are a lot drier. So the sand and animal enclosures ruins the connection. That's funny. Oh,
does it cause impaction, Sam?
Here we go. Dawson's back.
I had to get on my phone.
Hey, he's back.
Lost connection or something. I'm not sure what was going on.
You know what? If I go out again, I'm going to do it on my phone too.
Boom.
Will chatted in there. We can hear you. Yep.
Okay, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I was saying, while you're off is that Will Espenshade is joining us. You got to meet Will. I saw a picture of you and Will together at TTPG. And Sam, I totally understand what you're talking about with the sand. It just, waves don't go through soil.
Oh, goodness.
But Will is joining us tonight. Thank you, Will. But
Yes,
right
thank
off
you.
the bat, he said, I hope for a smooth connection. And this is the most audio issues we've had, but I think we're all good now. So
I think so as well.
So and we can hear you more clearly now too, Dawson. So what part of Texas are you in? What's the climate like that there, and how does that impact your turtle work?
Okay, so I'm from Central Texas. I'm living in Central Texas. And the climate here gets super, super hot in the summer and pretty cool in the winter. Right now we're dealing with like a little bit into the 60s. Today it was in the 70s during the day, thankfully, but the weather can be kind of choppy around here. It's pretty much, it gets a little bit cooler than Arizona at night, but the temps during the summer are pretty warm. So we got to keep an eye on those temps so we don't cook our tortoises.
So how warm?
We're talking like 90s to 100s on
Okay.
It can be. We'll get those heat waves like that.
And are you dry there? Or humid? What's it like?
It's really in between because we're pretty much in between El Paso and Houston, whereas Houston can be more of a tropical area, and El Paso can be such a dry desert area as well. So we're kind of dead center of that. Some days we get super dry days, and some days we get pretty humid days. So to combat that, we just pull out the old sprinkler and humid hides and get them wet,
And are your tortoises outside year round there?
No, actually, when it's cold, I have a rack system set up for my smaller tortoises that live outside. They live outside for most of the year, but when it gets cooler in the few short months of the winter, I do bring them in their temporary homes. And then I have a few lifetime sheds outside that I keep heated. A friend of mine, Steve, me and him are working. He's got some really cool outdoor heated boxes he built, and he sent me the plans for them. So I'm probably going to build a few of those.
What is a cold night there?
Yeah.
40s. Can get down there.
And then
that's the coldest?
Hey, I'm from Iowa. I know cold, but I love the Texas down here. Thank you,
40?
Stephanie. I appreciate the comment.
40, that's really doable. Like, yeah.
Come on down, Matt. You know what it's like. Texas is nice.
I got your address.
Yep.
It'd be nice to not freeze.
Yeah, that's what I'm just thinking. Like I just took some videos of some spotted turtles under the ice yesterday, day before. You never experienced that there.
Nope. None of those problems. So
that's crazy.
That's another reason why I plan on that. I don't keep any turtles really. I keep a fly river turtle that Matt so graciously sent to me. So I'm super glad I get to work with that. Again, shout out to Matt. I've been waiting to tell everybody about that. So, but I work with the red ear sliders. My friend Steve bought some from the auction, the Paradox red ear sliders, and then I got some lime paradoxes from Mark Cantos, and then I got I'm gonna probably build a pond and let those live outside year round when they get big enough, and just have a pond of red ear sliders that I can keep to myself and enjoy.
I'm pretty sure they could take -40.
Yeah, they live in Iowa too, so they should be just fine.
Yeah. Yeah. there is I honestly think they may be the most cold hardy species in the world. We just haven't tested it because they're not native to anything crazy cold. But I've had them freeze solid in stock tanks outside. The whole stock tank is frozen like an ice cube.
Yep. April is right. It might snow one time or two times down here, but I have yet to experience it in the couple of years that I've moved down here.
Yeah.
They had a snow apocalypse once a couple of years ago that shut Texas down.
Yeah, and, and
Right.
spiked everybody's electric bill.
Right.
And
Shut off the
and
power grid, didn't it?
I
Like
mean,
they were
yeah.
really hurting.
I mean, it's horrible to think about now. It was
Oh, yeah.
miserable for people. People's pipes froze, and yeah, that was horrible.
I would just be so
really
freaked out. I don't know if I could handle it like that. I mean, I'm used to it here, but if I was there, you know, going through my normal everyday routine, and we had a freak 100-year storm where everything was freezing, I'd be, well, I have a lot of stuff, but I'd be pulling what little hair I have left out.
Not the paint shortage, Cameron Lamb.
Yeah, so Cameron, I drove by the HQ tonight and checked on the progress of the tower, but Cameron's going to have to explain how a storm created a paint shortage, because I don't get that one, unless a bunch of people's pipes froze and they had to paint their walls again.
Sounds like a ploy just to raise prices to me. Cameron, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, Cam.
Just trying to get those sales up.
Yeah, that's
you know
crazy.
what? That doesn't surprise me. He's so, you know, he who can trust him? I mean, who really can trust Cameron, right?
I think we got to worry about Stephanie. She's the one we got to worry about.
Stephanie will cut you. I don't know
She
if you know this. She'll cut you.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
now, Stephanie and Cameron are honestly just TTPG in general has probably at least 50% of my favorite human beings in the world come out of TTPG. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And 50% of the people you hate the most also.
No,
that's a joke.
Yeah.
Cameron says that there's the factories that create refine the petroleum products and stuff were shut down. That makes sense.
That's the same thing they said about the chicken eggs. And what did they just get sued for?
I don't know. Yeah.
Cameron, we're watching you.
Stephen says we're all playing with fire.
We are firefighters.
Yeah.
So Dawson, tell us a little bit about why you like tortoises.
Yeah.
Okay. Why I like tortoises. They don't bite you, okay?
That's not true. That's not true.
The right ones don't bite you. And if they do, you're good enough to run away. No, since I was a little kid, I loved animals. I loved reptiles, everything. I've always wanted pets. My parents weren't too keen on pets. That was kind of a thing of my thing, but I kind of saved up some Christmas money. I went on the internet, and I could only afford 2 little sulcata tortoises. I had bought them, kind of hid them from my parents for a little bit. Yep. And but they were taken care of. I'll tell you that much. They had food, water, and UV and heat. So
awesome.
They had it all. And
better than my box turtle from today.
Much better. Yes, exactly. And since then I love tortoises. Just something about them. They're super unique to all other reptiles. They're calm. I've always been such an aggressive person my whole life. So these creatures kind of calm me down. Just sitting there watching them, hanging out with them is kind of therapeutic, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I wasn't very good at school. I wasn't a very school person. But when it comes to animals and reptiles, my mind can remember every fact about them, know everything about them, and it's super easy for me to learn about them. So it's cool. That's why I like them.
It's easy to learn because you like it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I love it. Yeah. It's amazing. And I decided this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to really work hard towards it. And here we are now.
So how long did it take your parents to find out that you had 2 sulcatas?
I was young. I don't remember. I kind of forget that whole story. Yeah. But here's what it's turned into.
Out of you.
Yeah. Here's what it's turned into. So.
Well, that's actually encouraging. How old were you, do you think?
I was probably 15, 16, around there.
Okay. Well, the kid today was 12. So maybe he'll end up being a new Dawson.
Tell us your story.
So I got contacted today. I run a rescue, and a lady said that her son and a friend had caught a box turtle in the park across the street, and that was in April. They were still in school, and it had lived in a box in the backyard, hidden from the parents since then, until they brought it into the garage and tried to hide it in there once it got cold, and then the mom found it yesterday, and it hasn't eaten or drank since they caught it in April. So, needless to say, it's extraordinarily light, dehydrated, but he was 12 years old. He hid it from his parents. So, much like Dawson, who knows? Maybe this could turn into a good thing.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, so
it
Dawson,
sounds like the kid didn't really take care of the
yeah,
turtle.
that's true. So Dawson, one thing I wanted to hit on, you being a veteran, me being a veteran, something I've always said was tortoises and turtles are therapeutic. For me especially. Something I have thought a lot about in the past was getting turtles and tortoises, the ones that come into my rescue, uh, searching out veterans, some that may suffer with post-traumatic stress, or some that maybe not, but
Mm-hmm.
um, just as a tool to help them in their transition to civilian life, or transition to getting over some things, working through problems. Is that something you've ever thought about, or is that something that you've pushed towards other vets and kind of exposed them to something that may be able to help them like this?
I haven't completely thought about that, but I've had it in my brain, and I can totally see where the idea comes from for you. Is you could think about it as kind of like a working dog for a veteran, but a working reptile,
Hmm.
reptiles with veterans, and I think that could be a really cool step forward into the future, something we could work at, and I could see how it would work too, because not everybody's a dog person, and not
Right.
everybody's a cat person,
Could
and
be
you
allergic.
never know that I know a lot of veterans that are hardcore and would love to have a cool tortoise hanging out in their yard while they're, just hanging out. And it's a
Yeah.
partner for life.
Yep. And
It's I
that's another thing that hit me with them, especially, was when you're dealing with post traumatic stress and you have a mammal, they don't live as long.
mhm.
You got to go through a death. And if you've already suffered with a lot of death in your life and you've seen it and you've experienced it, you don't necessarily want to go through it again with something that you've grown attached to, such as a service dog. Um, Most turtles and tortoises should outlive whoever gets them.
Yeah.
Right.
Um, so that's one less hurdle that they could potentially have to go over with a reptile or a turtle and tortoise, specifically.
I think
So
that's a great idea, and I think that's something we should both work on,
let's
and
do it, buddy.
let's
Yeah.
get something going.
More
And
collaboration.
yes,
I love it.
100%. I think it bring a lot of awareness to reptiles and the tortoise community as well, and it would bring some more awareness to PTSD and some veterans that need help.
Yep.
So I think
Awesome.
that's a great idea.
We'll be talking.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do it. And that sounds awesome. Dawson,
Yeah.
you are in the National Guard now?
Yep. I'm in the unit over in Dallas. I'm in an airborne unit. We jump out of
Airborne.
all the way.
Sorry.
We jump out of airplanes and do what we got to do. I really enjoy it.
Do you guys do fixed or rotary wing as well?
We
You ever
do.
jump out of
Yep.
rotary?
Yep. We do, and we
A
do
little
water
easier.
jumps and stuff like that. We were attached to an active duty unit, the 173rd over in
Italy.
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 Yep. And
Yeah.
so that's something I do. It fills up my free time.
Yeah. Have you gotten to see any turtles on your travels?
No, I was so sad. I went to Egypt. I just got back from Egypt a few
You
months
mean you
back.
didn't see any tortoises, Egyptian
I
tortoises?
know, right?
I heard they're
Actually,
everywhere.
Ralph is on
I
the call.
the only turtle I got from Egypt was this. This was at the pyramids. It's the only one I could find. There's nothing else turtley there. It's like a bronze turtle,
That's killer. It
and
opens?
it opens
Oh,
up. Yeah,
Nice.
and this bad Jesse was $3.
Nice.
you
Yes,
could have bought some for us.
they only have one. I would have bought the whole table.
Yeah.
I
For
swear.
$3, yeah.
Yeah, I would have bought the whole table, and
That's
that was a
really
cool
cool.
experience. Yeah, but yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you have pancake tortoises.
I do.
Several. tell us a little bit about your pancakes and how you take care of those.
Okay, so me and Matt are collaborating on this right now.
Yeah.
This is one of the collaborations. Sam, you know Sam, guys.
Who's
Yes, we do.
awesome.
He was super gracious and offered to send me. Matt had gotten me a pancake from the Daytona Reptile Show, and it sent it
Well,
to
hold
me
on.
as
Time out. You had gotten one, and then you texted me and said, "Hey, if you see any, I just got one. I'm gonna need some more." And I had
yeah,
just gotten done. I was looking at one with Mike Ogle had a booth, and one was identical to a hatchling of a different species that I'd hatched, but same split scoop design. I loved it. So I was talking with him, and he's like, "Yeah, you can
right,
have it." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!
yeah,
Okay, well then I gotta buy one from you to make up for you giving me one."
yep,
So he sold me another one at like half price, and it had split scoots, the zipper I call it, the zigzag down the middle.
yep.
So I
That's his
had
name.
just gotten that one 20 minutes before you texted me, and I was like, "Perfect! I got you one right here." So yeah,
Yeah, yep.
that's how
I was
that
happy
happened.
for that. Yep. And then Sam had offered to send me one of his juvenile pancakes, which was beautiful, and I was very thankful for that through the TTPG um, program, Chelonian Propagation Program. I got to think sometimes so I can remember how to say that.
Infantry.
But he sent me one, and then Matt, I needed a male. I got a female. I needed a male. Matt sent me his male. He's like, "Well, if I'm gonna send you my male, I might as well send you all the females with it." And so now I have a whole group of pancakes here. And a couple days after he sent them, I had them set up in a indoor enclosure because it was a little too cool. I built them a nice outdoor enclosure, but it was too cool. And I look in there, and lo and behold, one of them's digging, and they start laying eggs. And now I know I got 4 or 5 eggs in the incubator from them.
I think shipping.
Yeah,
I think shipping them makes a big difference. When I
yeah,
got them shipped to me, they laid the day after, and then 3 days after that.
Hmm.
I think
yep.
moving them does something because as soon as I shipped them to him, they laid. Um,
That's
it's
weird.
there's now the reason I ended up sending my females. I had 2.3, and one had passed away last winter. Um, I didn't realize it was one of my males. I thought it was one of my females. I didn't, pay close attention to him. My mistake. So when he needed a male, I reached in, I grabbed one, flipped it over. Okay, it was a male. I've got 2. That's fine. I'll send him my, spare male. Um, then I pulled them out to move enclosures, and I started looking at them closer. And
You have no males.
hey, so you might as well take the other 3 females I got.
Ah,
So, yeah,
I wasn't gonna say no to
right.
that.
Well, and look, they already gave you eggs, so it's worked
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
that's
And
cool.
if we do hatch them, they will be donated back to
Yep.
the Chelonian Propagation Program. So that's an
Yep.
agreement we came on.
Yep. Not making money on it. It's not our thing. So.
Nope.
My friend Ryan, who I help with the Let's Talk Turtles podcast, he tells me that pancake tortoises have a specific smell or odor
Yep,
Yeah.
about them. Like
they do.
what is up with that? Like how do you describe that?
How-
Is it constant? Like do you have
Yeah.
to sniff them? Does it like
No.
emanate
but
out of their enclosure? Like, what
if
is
you're,
this weird odor thing?
do you get it when you match?
I
Like
can't
the only
explain
time
it.
I'd smell it really is when I'm picking them up and holding them. But
Yep.
yeah, it's definitely distinct.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wonder if they
And
have some kind of musk
Musk?
gland
Yeah,
Musk.
that
that's what I
hasn't
thought too.
been
Mhm.
identified or something like that. I mean, it's really
I don't
weird.
know. I
Huh.
agree. I've smelled it.
Well, I
I'd
love
like to
pancake
speak a little
tortoise.
bit more on the TTPG program because I left a lot out now that I'm looking back at my notes.
Oh well, we can get back to that, and I have
Okay,
another question
sweet.
for Matthew too.
Yeah.
But I want to ask one more question about pancakes. My buddy Mike Novi of Rainforest Junkies, who's a frog guy, but he goes to Tinley and he's a frog breeder, but he also has some turtles. Well, he had some pancakes on his table at the Cleveland Reptile Show, and I was like, "Hey, why are you getting rid of those?" And what he was telling me is that he was getting rid of essentially all his high temperature animals because frogs don't need very high temperatures. And he was telling me that pancakes can't be below like 76, 78 degrees. And I thought that was weird. Have you guys ever heard
You,
that? Or to
well,
keep them really
you thought
warm? Or?
you thought it was weird because it's not true. Um, no, I mean, yeah, they absolutely like hotter temperatures. Can they take temperatures below 78? Yeah. I mean, I had them in a room that got to 60 every night. I mean, I never worried about them.
Interesting.
They ate. I mean, Dawson's got them now. I mean, they're eating for him and plowing down. But
They
no,
go crazy.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put them in any real cold temperatures, but I mean, to say mid to high 70s is the lowest you can go is just ridiculous.
It made me pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean McZoo has joined us, Reptile Show
Sean.
Horror Podcast. So I now have a chameleon thanks to Sean. It's awesome. So Will says, I've never noticed pancake odor, maybe syrup. Phil says, I've never noticed this odor with his pancakes. And then Phil says maple. So it's not a pleasant smell, right? The way Ryan described it.
I mean, it's not like a stink pot musk or a
Okay.
twang tongue. It's not like that kind of musk, but yeah, I mean, there's
Not
a
notice
distinct
any
smell.
odor with his pancake. This is really interesting. Maybe it's one of those things like you either love the taste of cilantro or it tastes like soap or
Oh, I
dishwater.
love cilantro. Who doesn't like cilantro?
My
They're weird.
wife. Yeah. And
Your
it's
wife's
a
weird.
genetic thing. Some
Is it really
people,
genetic?
yeah, some people cilantro tastes like
My wife's like, yeah.
dirty
She-
dishwater. But so maybe some people smell pancake tortoises as nasty and others maybe not. Who knows?
or it could be. Some people can smell diabetics. Did you know that?
I've heard about that.
I
Yeah.
can smell
have.
diabetics.
I can smell it
Yeah.
on breath.
I can smell insulin in the air, like the artificial insulin. I can smell it.
Oh yeah.
That's really interesting. And Mark says pancakes don't poop very often, but when they poop a lot.
Bad.
And that's
Yeah. It's
Oh,
really
yeah.
it's the same. Okay, it's the same with their eggs. They only lay one egg at a time, but they're big eggs. They
Yep.
only poop so often, but it's a massive dump. I mean, they really.
I actually had a double clutch. The one that I found was 2 eggs in one.
Yeah,
So that was pretty cool.
that is
Yeah.
so cool.
I was actually
Well-
soaking my pancakes last night, and man, they were letting them all out. They love to poop when they're wet. I'm telling you, logs.
Oh man,
That's a really cool animal.
they really are.
Phil said that he smelled something with his Spangler Eey today, and it was awful. So yeah.
Really?
What? There's something bad about that, sir?
I've never. My Spangler eyes don't. Well, they're bioactive enclosures, so unless I see their poop right away, I generally don't even mess with it. I got enough critters in there to eat it, but I've never. That's interesting. I've never sat and smelled Spangler eye poop.
Interesting.
I've definitely.
You know, we should do that. We should get all of our tortoise and turtle poop lined up, and we should get a sample smell.
Nice.
You know, make sure that we get a baseline.
It would make
I'll
for
pass
a
on that
great-
one for you guys.
Hey,
In the
we
name
need
of
to get-
science.
Let's get with
Sounds good.
Steve over at Turtle Room, and let's have him add that to the digital colonial log. Poop
Yeah.
smell.
Poop smell.
You know, I'm a premium member. I didn't know that I was paying for 2 premium memberships for like the last 3 years.
Double
Didn't
support.
even use. Yeah, well, that's what I was actually looking at it as. But yeah,
That's
if you get on, I recommend the digital colonial log for anyone. And actually, Max, I forget his last name. He posted on the TTBG group today with how he's
Baswell or
tracking.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's tracking the Spangler Eye, and I forget what app he said. But I was gonna message him and recommend the digital colonial log. That thing is amazing. Thank you, Sam.
Let us know what you find
Way
out.
to start. Way to start.
Take one
strong.
for the team, brother.
Hey, and
So-
by the time they get smell-o-vision, we can actually start broadcasting that smell out to people if we had samples. We just got to collect. So when we're discussing a certain species, we can say, see, look, F4. And then,
I'm over it. That's you.
You're not a real turtle keeper.
And Dawson, before we go back and talk to TTPG, as a fairly young tortoise keeper, what are your goals right now? Are you kind of learning about different species, feeling things out? Where do you see yourself going with all of this?
Well, I'll tell you right now, I have huge, huge dreams. I have dreams to change the tortoise and turtle community. I have
Awesome.
dreams to inspire the next generation to become more educated and more involved with tortoises and turtles. I have dreams to be able to change people's perspectives on the pet trade. Instead of it being more of a bad thing, I want to show the good that can come from it, like saving species and help keeping species for the next generation to enjoy.
Awesome.
I want to be the kid. Like I used to look up to Andrew Hermes. I used to look up to John Heidecker, all those guys. Camp
Is that
Cannon
a
on
short
YouTube.
joke about Andy?
No, we're the same size, man. No, but I used to look up to all those guys, and it was awesome getting to meet them, and it truly inspired me to be like, hey, I want to be that guy that some kid out there can look up to and come to TTPG someday. And like, I remember watching you as a little kid. That's kind of how I reacted to meeting Anthony and all these guys. It was really cool. So that inspired me too.
We all look up to Anthony.
We all look up to Anthony, even if we don't want to. He's not
I have to look straight up and down. So,
he is a tall person.
I think he's
great
putting those wedges in his shoes like John Wayne did when he was getting older. Because I think he's losing height. He just doesn't want to admit it. Eventually, it'll come out.
Exactly.
Sucks.
A part of that dream is
go ahead.
A part of that dream is comes from coming from a small town, so not many people make it out, and moving away from that small town, getting out of that place was a huge goal of mine. Now I'm down here in Texas and being able to inspire people, and I do believe anything can happen. So that's why I'm learning all the mechanics of YouTube and TikTok, and that's where we're going to capture the next generation. That's where we're going to find the younger guys that are going to come into TTPG, because if it wasn't for social media, then I would have never met any of the TTPG stuff. So I think we really need to start hacking at the social media side of it.
Totally agree.
I mean, Matthew has told me that many new young people were at TTPG this year. So were you able to meet some young people that you hadn't met yet and network with them?
Yes, I was actually. I saw 3 or 4 of the guys that were there. Connor, he's from about 40 minutes away from me. Wes, us 3 are from Central Texas, so it's really nice to have 3 guys really close to each other. I was able to drive up, and they flew in, so I was able to take back some tortoises for them. But I met Davin. His dad owns this reptarium in South Dakota. I met a lot of good guys. So a lot of the young ones I got to connect with and kind of think of ideas how we can work together. And Steven, I mean, he's still a younger guy, just turned 30, but he's still a younger guy. Me and him talk a lot, and he's kind of been in with TTPG for a long time, and he's kind of helping me gear in the right direction as well.
Awesome.
Not that he has a bad reputation or anything like that. People don't realize how smart he is, though. Because he's not a showboat. Like, he doesn't put out dude, that guy's sharp as a tack. Like, he has so much knowledge about a lot of species and not just turtles and tortoises either. I love Steve. He's an awesome dude.
With William's comment, he was talking about the vital network before social media. That's how your generation was networking. Now we got to focus on how the next generation is networking socially, and that's through phones and computers. It's the sad reality, but it's the reality we live in. So that's what we're going to have to accept, the fact that it's happening, and move towards that direction.
Yep.
That's right. I was listening to Sean's podcast episode with Chris Anderson, who's a chameleon professor, and he's about my age, and he was talking about list serves and AOL chat rooms where he hooked up with people to talk about pets back then. So
Nice.
that's what I was doing. I started a Hingeback Yahoo group a long time ago. So Will says he's here and he's got us.
If anybody talks to Russ Gurley, tell him I want to do the social media for TTBG. I have some great ideas.
Well,
so.
Let's hear those ideas.
I recently started reaching out to some of the guys in TTBG, and I think that instead of making YouTube videos based off of just my mind, I can reach out to 10 or 12 guys for each video, get all their opinions, mix it into one idea, and create a video based off of professionals' opinions instead of just me making up stuff on the go. I can ask Matt, Steven, you, William Espinade, ask all these guys and be like, hey, what do you think on this topic? Take that topic, make a video about it, and instead of being like, hey, I thought of this idea, I can be like, I asked 10 members from this professional tortoise group, from professional keepers that have been doing this whole life, hey, this is what we do, and this is what works. So,
yeah. And I think you probably have more people that would be willing to share that kind of knowledge and information than ever. So I love it.
Yeah, that's my idea. And I think along the lines, if we get TTB to a new height, we could eventually do like a thing where we can go around talking to people and get involved in their collections personally instead of just, kind of go and talk to them and see their collections and kind of do collection tours, because those are becoming really popular on YouTube. People love collection tours, and if we get enough guys comfortable with that, where we're not telling everybody their location, but being able to come into their place and see their collection, I think that would take things to the next level.
Yeah, and I'll completely agree. I mean, I'm on all the YouTube channels, watching all of them. But Camp Cannon.
Yep.
The ones of his that I enjoy the most, and if you look at his views, they're, I think, the highest still, are the ones that he's going to different places. He hit the Turtle Survival Center in South Carolina. He killer mustache.
He's talking about Stevens.
Oh,
yeah. That thing is
that
crazy,
is
huh?
fantastic mustache. I told him he can't cut it. Like, that is so cool, and he's got to keep it going. I love that.
It looks good.
Communication. It's all about communication, and it's changed. But we used to have these things called BBSs, bulletin board systems, and that was even before emails, or not before email, but before listservs, I think. So that's hilarious. No, I love that idea. So does April.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're the highest viewed. They're what people want to see. I mean, I love Kenan. He's got an awesome setup. I'm totally envious of not only his setup but his animals. But we've all seen a lot of it, so it's just a lot of repetition. If we're just watching his, I think he's smart, and that's why he's going out and visiting different locations. But there's I want to say Tortoise King. He's a one-legged cop. Awesome guy. Met him at Daytona in person. Really cool guy. He was able to go visit. Kenan went to his place, visited it.
I think he gave him his elongated tortoises, or sold them, or something. I think that's what
okay. Yeah,
like Chris Moorcroft. Moorcroft. His stuff.
Is that his name, Chris Moorcroft? I can't remember.
Not Charles Moorcroft.
Charles, yeah, that's who it is. I get his name mixed up with another guy. I talked to him last night on Instagram. And he was telling me about his YouTube, how his place has been filmed by a few YouTubers, and they do really, really good. And I think that'd be a great idea. We have so many high-level tortoise keepers in TTBG that would just knock the socks off of so many viewers that would just be like, holy crap, these guys are next level. But they just don't film, or they don't share their collections. Not that they don't want to. It's just not that they can't. It's just they don't want to. That it's just they're busy with life. And I think if
I don't take pictures of half of my stuff.
Exactly, and I understand that.
I don't know if I ever took a picture of that Fly River, actually.
I got a few good videos.
Didn't happen.
But yeah, I mean, but that's why we need someone like you that has the ability to film. You've got an awesome camera. You have some experience doing that. Um, and you're young. You can connect with those young kids far better than Tom or I could.
Like our
Far better
children.
than Russ could. Yeah, yeah.
That's
My
what we're talking
my oldest
about.
daughter doesn't listen to it. Well, my two oldest daughters don't listen to a thing I say. They're teenagers now. They don't care about what dad has. You could tell them the exact same thing I said, and they would listen to it and say, "Oh my gosh, he's so smart." If I said it, I'd be an idiot. So, you have that ability, and with great power comes great responsibility, Dawson. So we need you.
That's funny.
Oh, we gotta
Yes,
take advantage of me then, because I've been offering my time and service to TTPG.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think there's some new things on the horizon too, and it'll be interesting to learn exactly what those new things are. Any updates there, Matthew?
Not yet. Not that I can share.
Okay.
Things got to be finalized before. I don't want to be that guy that spills beans and then
No,
it ends up
understood.
not coming true or not happening.
Understood.
Like
That always
student loan
sucks.
forgiveness and stuff like that. I'm not going to tell you something to get elected.
Hmm.
Okay, we have no politics rule on this show.
That's not politics.
Yes, it is. You said the word elected.
Voted, I mean. Who knows? Maybe I'll be running for something eventually.
There you go.
In the next year.
Matthew for TTPG president.
No, there is no president.
Not yet. Not yet.
Nah, nor should there. We're not a president type of company.
Justin Roberts wants to know if his Spangler Eye ever laid this year.
Mine?
Yes.
I did find one egg from a female in a spot that she doesn't normally lay, and she's really predictable, which was frustrating. But the egg had gone bad sitting in the enclosure. But yeah, I made the bad mistake last winter of not brewmating cold enough. The coldest they got was about 65 degrees, and that's just not cutting it for them. So I've relocated them. When we finished our basement, where I would brewmate them, didn't maintain the same temperature because the basement was finished and closed off now. So I've got them in a room in the garage now that's not heated, and they're staying between 48 and 56 right now. So should get eggs next year, should be good to go.
Awesome. How many eggs does a female lay?
So that one in particular, she lays 6 eggs a year. She double clutches almost every time, and she'll lay 3 clutches.
Eggs from a tiny little turtle like that.
No, well, she'll lay 3 clutches, two clutches or 2 eggs each. She actually, Anthony Pierleone has a picture of that particular female, and he has a radiograph, and you can see in the radiograph 4 eggs, 2 of them that were fully developed and ready to get laid, and 2 of them that were they look fully formed, but they obviously were younger. So yeah, it's a pretty cool picture. I've got to get another copy from him somewhere. I don't know where mine went, but yeah. So I mean, for mine, 6 is the most I'll get from any. Anthony would probably be able to give a better, Anthony or Betsy honestly would be able to tell you a better idea of how many each could lay, because I know they have some that'll lay 3 or 4. I think Anthony has one that'll lay 4 eggs, but it's can't remember what locale it is. They get really big.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very good. Is there any species, Dawson, that you just are dying to work with right now?
Yeah, there's always stuff I'd love to work with.
Russian tortoises.
No. I'm not a testudo guy. Not yet. Sorry.
Give it time.
Time, yes. Spangler Eye is a big one on my list. and probably I'd like to work with maybe 1 or 2 galops. Aldabras. Thankfully, there's something I'd like to bring up. A guy a good friend of mine named Charlie. He has adult pairs of galops and aldabras and everything you can name. I recently visited his place last weekend, and he ground hatched. I think it was 6 aldabras.
Wow.
Aldabra tortoises ground hatched out of his facility, and then recently his galops are
That's
starting to lay.
fantastic.
So he gave me the tour of his place. He was a very kind person. He's very private about his stuff, but he was gracious to let me come in and check out his stuff. So I think that's really big news for state of Texas
Cool.
for the future.
Yeah.
Ground hatching aldabras is crazy to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Got a question from Matthew about the Spangler Eye eggs.
What could I compare them to? So Eastern box turtles, I'd say they're about that diameter, but they're longer.
Okay.
They're definitely elongated eggs.
Here's a question from Mark De Silva. Raise your hand if you want to see Mark De Silva as a guest on the Two Turtle Time Show.
I love
Okay.
Mark.
He actually did just say, "All right, I got to get on there and talk."
Okay. Excellent.
We were talking to him the other day on the phone.
Okay. For Mark's question, the pancakes, yes, I have some leopards, some redfoots, most of my stuff, and my Sri Lankan stars are a little too young right now, so I'm gotta wait a few years. But I'm okay with raising stuff up. I like to enjoy the process of seeing stuff grow and get bigger and seeing how they change over the years. So it's going to come with time. My goal isn't really breeding so much as it is learning and education and teaching. So that's where I'm at right now. But thankfully, I got some tortoises laying eggs, which is cool to look forward to hatching.
Yeah. It won't be long till those redder sliders are laying for you.
I'm just gonna let them go out into the pond and do their thing. They're gonna do their thing. Python.
Mark,
Sorry, I had to
Mark,
say
if you'd
that.
stop asking questions about me.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I got to talk about my friend Steve. Matt introduced me to Steve.
Yeah.
And I really like Steve. He's a very private guy too. Me and him had a good time at the auction. He so graciously bought me some of those Paradox red ear sliders, and I'd really like to thank him. We talk on the daily almost, and we got some good plans, me and him in the future. He's a great dude. He's teaching me a lot from the sidelines, and we got a nickname for each other now. It's a Python. So there's a little, if you know, you know, but if you don't, you don't. But along with Andrew from the Arizona Tortoise Compound, he so graciously let me be behind his booth at the reptile show. That was my first time ever doing that. And so that was really cool. And I appreciate him doing that. I'm glad we became friends through that too. And
Yeah,
Justin,
awesome.
no, those eggs did not hatch, unfortunately. They went bad. Python. Lovely. He's a good man.
Who's
Awesome.
Turtle Girl 181 or who?
Calm down, Matthew. Calm down.
Andrew.
Okay, Dawson. Is there anything else you would like to share with this listening audience that we have this evening?
I got to visit. So back to the TTPG. I got to visit Jerry Fife's place, which was amazing. I networked with him to go out to lunch. Me and him went out to lunch and got to go to his place, and that was an awesome experience. Along with that, I got to go to Cameron's and meet John Heidecker and James Badman. Those are two guys I really look up to as well. Along with that, dinner with Jeffrey Kasperick. I got to meet him, which was a really cool guy. I really like him. He's very friendly. He got to show me his cool car, and it was great. Matt Patterson, that was great. Michael, I got to meet everybody that I've been talking to online with, which I think it brings another connection to networking and getting to meet everybody and understand who they are as a person, because you can be one person on the internet and then go meet that person and real life, and they could be a whole different person. You could really pick up and read about who they really are and understand who they really are. So,
Well, you understood the assignment. When
yeah,
before the conference I said this is about networking. This is about meeting people, getting time face to face with them so they can really get a feel for who you are. And I said Andrew Herm, I think I told you at the expo, great example. He was really, really nice with me before we met in person. But I think he's one of those guys, and maybe he can comment and tell you, until he really kind of sees you and meets you face to face, he's nice, but he's not like you're my buddy. And then
right.
now, I mean, once you hang out with him and he gets to see who you are, and like, dude, he'll love you like family. I mean, he's salt of the earth type person. So
I
he's one
couldn't
of
agree
those
more.
50% of my favorite people.
Yep.
But no, you understood the assignment. When we went out to lunch, I think on the first day, and I looked over and you're sitting there eating lunch with Jerry Fife and Matt Patterson, I was like, he's got it. Smart kid.
Yeah,
He
that was one
understood
of
the
my big
assignment.
goals.
Yeah.
And I think what really set it off was 100% Cameron and Stephanie and you allowing me to come with, and them opening up their house for me to come and see it. That's a big trust thing right there. Is they don't know who I am at all. I'm just some random kid showing up to TTPG, and for them to open up their property for me to see their tortoises, I think that really like set the mood for the first TTPG. And I don't think I'll ever be able to top that TTPG until maybe down the line if I ever give a speech. But 100%, that really made my first TTPG experience great. And then topping on the cake was Jerry Fife's and Andrew's place. Like, it doesn't get much better than that, really. You can't. I'm just thankful I had the experience I got.
Yeah.
And then you have Matthew introducing me to everybody, which I appreciate as well, because I wasn't very talkative, so he would pull me off to the side and be like, "Hey, this is Dawson." Me and Dawson are good friends, so that was awesome.
Seeing you talk to all those customers at Andrew's booth, you can talk. Just got to have that topic.
Right.
Now, you did awesome. Watching you run that booth, I mean, even Andrew was saying, like, dude, he's knocking it out. He's sold a bunch of stuff. Like, how much stuff did you sell for him?
I lost count. It was a lot. There was not a lot left.
That's awesome.
So,
yeah,
that's all I got.
Awesome. Well, Dawson, we really thank you for joining us tonight. How can people find you online?
Right now, I'm working real hard. I'm growing my TikTok following and my Instagram following. So you can find me on TikTok at Texas State Tortoises, Instagram at Texas State Tortoises, YouTube at Texas State Tortoises. Andrew, I think I made one sale of 3,500. And then I sold Aldabras on top of that. And then I sold almost all his stars. Sold an Aldabra, his Redfoots, Sri Lankans, pancakes, both of his pancakes. Yeah, it was a good time. I appreciate Andrew very much.
Some money. Well, maybe. I mean, you got to check.
No, I don't. That was not at all. Andrew,
I can't see the comments. I don't know what he's saying.
Oh, he said 3K. 3K.
You need to pay that man. Pay that man.
Nah. I just enjoyed hanging out with someone I looked so up to so much as a kid. That was enough for me.
Awesome.
Andrew will get you back in solid pricing, and to the point where you'll have to say, no, I will not give you $100 for that. I'll give you 150 or 200, but I'm not going to give you 100. It's not.
No, I don't expect anything from anybody. That's my rule. That's my life rule.
Yeah,
I'll never expect anything from anybody. If I'm going to get it, I'll work for it.
Awesome.
So.
Well, thank you so much, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us. It was awesome having Dawson. And, every Thursday night, 8 p.m., we do this. And
we will get the
exciting and interesting people that are pushing turtle husbandry forward in the world of turtles and tortoises. And super excited to meet you, Dawson. I can't wait to meet you in person. And I can't wait to see what you do and have done a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So
it's awesome that we'll have this to look back on in 10 years and say, holy cow, man.
I hope so, because
I think you're going to do some amazing things. I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
It takes a community to build dreams, so I need all the support I can get from everybody.
Awesome. Well, thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
For the turtles.
Or turtle.